thank y'all again for tuning in to Season TV. I'm your host, Command Nicholas, and today I got a subject geared towards my brothers and sisters that's enduring incarceration or looking for any kind of information on how to put together a strong and powerful parole presentation, because that's the trick. Trick is what kind of information can you put inside your presentation to the parole board that's going to really stand out and get their attention, and to let them know you are genuine about your plea and not only getting out but staying out. And that's also one of the main highlighting details I like to stress to my brothers and sisters who are putting their parole presentation together in an attempt to be free, is the recidivism. And that's key. That's integral. And before I get into that, man, I just want to touch up a little bit about myself. I was given 15 years for aggravated robbery when I was 17 years old. I was a first-time offender. I had another aggravated robbery on my record that I incurred when I was 16 years old, like the year before. So, and with a litany of other investigations that I went in front the judge that I was sentenced, or that sentenced me, and like I was blessed for 15 years, and I say blessed because it humbled me once I started doing time, for lack of better words. I arrived at the Ferguson unit 2 years after I was at the Roach unit. See, when I was at Ferguson unit, I started coming across brothers who had real time, like large amounts of time. And I started seeing what I laid myself open to when I went to court under a PSI, facing 5 to 99, and I received 15 years, and I was thankful. And just with that being said, fast forward, I made my first parole, and I did it while on medium custody, and I was on medium custody for an assault on the officer case, which is like a high case, for lack of better words. Because I'm trying to find the proper wording so those who haven't experienced incarceration can understand what I'm expressing with that, and how deep it is to make parole under those kind of circumstances, being classified as a G4, and all these things, and being reviewed, and just being told back to back to back by lawyer after lawyer that it's not going to happen. He lost his line class. I don't want to take your money. These things that was telling my mother when we was looking to acquire representation for my parole process. And we was extremely close in doing so, but the lawyer that we had in mind, he got off my case once I caught the major case, for lack of better words, for assault on an officer. And he just flat out told me and my mother that I could be preparing for a set off. And that right there fired me up. It inspired me. It motivated me. It didn't discourage me, because I was already in college. I was like 16 hours away from getting my associate's degree in business management and operations. And I was really excited about that, because it was graduation. It was going to be a nice feat to accomplish while I was incarcerated. But when I caught that infraction, that was halted, and I was like 3 to 4 months away from seeing parole. So it kind of intensified my efforts. And me and my mother came together. We put together a phenomenal parole packet, and I was granted my first parole on medium custody. No parole lawyer, no anything. And I had every intention on writing this manuscript to share the information that me and my mother learned while going through the journey on trying to acquire parole, to others who was in that situation. But as you know, based on my story, and if you haven't heard about it from any of my other content, I didn't. It went on the back burner, because when I immediately came home, money, or the pressures of the lack of money started to flood me quicker than I thought. So I reverted back to, no, well, not reverted. Well, I started hustling and doing all the nefarious behaviors that ultimately led to me being shot 12 more times, and having to fight another case with the state of Texas, which I came out on top of, and extremely blessed, and it sparked the flame to get me going in the direction of entrepreneurship. But getting back to the subject of the video, the tips that me and my mother learned are so powerful because, like, again, we did it with no parole lawyer, and that's why this book is tailored for the individuals that's dealing with Texas prison system looking to make parole with no parole lawyer. Might not have the fund or for whatever reason, but it's still possible. You can still do it. Don't doubt. And the number one tip I like to expose to families because it wasn't known then, but it's getting a little more known now. Is you absolutely have the a right to a teleconference or a meeting with the parole panel when your loved one's case is being voted upon by them. You can put in for a teleconference like within 6 to 12 months before the parole hearing, and parole board or notify you when they're actually voting upon your loved one's case, and will give you a chance to chime in and speak on their behalf, for lack of better words. And that's one thing that I learned that I did not know my entire time when I was in TDCJ. And but I found out when our efforts had to increase because we was doing it on our own. And another fantastic tip that I picked up, and I'm going to do another video on this same subject where I'm going to go into more details on how to compose these things. But again, another tip that I learned that can be utilized is a petition, putting together a petition. So your loved one can gather community support, because a common reason that parole likes to deny our loved ones parole is because they pose them as a threat to society. Well, a petition is a perfect answer to that. And how you do that is you make a statement introducing your loved one basically to the community, to the ones he's petitioning. Say what he done, give a description on what he's doing now, like how he's trying to or her trying to better themselves, and you gather the zip codes that is in the area that they're planning to parole to, so you can show we have the support of the community of our area behind this guy, and that's a good tool to argue that reason or that denial code that, like I say, parole is known for issuing out. And one more quick tip I want to leave you guys with is always try to get them employed. Don't wait. As soon as your LO or your loved one is sentenced, start looking for them a job immediately. Get them employed and get them a wage down pat, because it's gonna help them plan against recidivism. Because, and ladies, y'all can chime in on this too, and also comment this on why you ever wondered why during incarceration your loved one might tell you the best of the best of the plans that they do this and that, and then you notice when they're released, it kind of they revert back to some of their behaviors or actions quicker than what you expected. This and they start to display a contrast based on what they said they was going to do. And in my opinion, that's money. Money is one of the reasons for that, because money is when we need money, it's extremely pressuring when especially when you don't know how to utilize your internal tools to control your external environment. Money is even more controlling, and it applies even more pressure on one to accumulate it. And that's the reason why a lot of our loved ones revert back to that behavior. And that's the reason why I reverted back to that behavior. But to speak on it, this is how you combat that. The moment they receive their sentence for their charge, it's on you to motivate them or to do what you can do to get them employed right then and there, so they can have a wage, so they can plan out against that exact circumstance or the exact scenario based on the actual wage they'll be making. So now you have a financial, now you're giving your loved one a foundation in which to build a solid financial plan on, based on facts, because this is the actual employer and this is the actual month they're going to be making, so they can kind of plan and predict against that peril. And that's just a few quick tips I wanted to drop and share with the crowd, because, like I say, this is another subject I'm passionate about, and knowing and me recognizing, getting new into sharing my story in the form of content. I'm 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 neglecting to speak on other subjects that I'm extremely passionate about, and I'm extremely passionate about helping not our Maryland brothers and sisters, but all our brothers and sisters who are enduring incarceration. That's why I started my publication company, to give those brothers in there a platform who are authors, or a platform to publish their work on and reap all their profits. And I won't keep it down, and I'm passionate about that. And also for anyone looking for more parole information, man, feel free to comment. I'm extremely active, and also it's so much more information in this book that I'm going to continue to create content geared towards, so I can continue to share information on how you can free your loved one and help them not only obtain parole but to change their lives. Go inward to go upward, and let that reflect in their parole presentation, and use that to convince parole candidates that are already free, because it's a decision. It's not it circumstance only looks real, for lack of better words, but it's all mental, and we have the capability within ourselves to be greater than any circumstances in our life. And with that being said, tune in for more content related to the subject, and fighting parole, or making parole within TDCJ, because I'm going to keep the content coming fresh to you guys. And have a fantastic day, and take advantage of all opportunities, man. Love y'all, and thank y'all.